Hey, what's up, everybody? Today is January 20th, and this is Mailbag Monday for WikiGameGuides.com, and I am in an incredible mood right now because the Broncos, my fucking Broncos, won the AFC Championship yesterday, and they're going to the Super Bowl. I went to the game. It was an unbelievable game. I had so much fun, and it's been an incredible season, and I think the Broncos are going to absolutely destroy the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. They're favored by like 2 points right now in some of the Vegas books, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that go up a little bit more. I mean, it's just been an amazing year for the Broncos. Like, Peyton Manning's had an insane year, and then yesterday against, I think, the Patriots were the third best offense in the league. The Broncos held them to 3 points in the first three quarters on a sunny day with no weather. Like, it was a beautiful day. It was like 60 degrees in the Mile High City. Oh my God, there's gonna be so many weed jokes coming in the next 2 weeks. I won't even say any, though I do have a story about going to one of the legal weed dispensaries that I'll tell in a minute. Anyway, so the game yesterday was so much fun. Broncos defense held up big. I think the Seahawks are going to struggle on offense, and then like the Seahawks defense is very good. It's the first ranked defense in the league, but I really don't think that they're going to be good enough to shut down Peyton Manning for 4 quarters. And then Russell Hustle Bustle Man Muscle Wilson is not going to be good enough to score enough to outscore Peyton Manning. I mean, that's just the way it's been all season. Peyton Manning is just fucking crazy and efficient and deadly, and nobody can shut him down enough to put him away when it really counts. So it's been, I think 2 weeks since last Mailbag Monday. If you have any questions or anything like that you want to email in, you can email wikigameguides@gmail.com. And my physical address, if you want to ship something, is in the description as well. I'm going to be kind of expanding the Mailbag Monday a little bit going forward. Do a little bit more media overload stuff just because the podcast has been so irregular. Though we did record a podcast recently. I have not posted it yet. Today's Monday. I'm going to edit it tomorrow and post it on the website tomorrow. So the link to iTunes is in the description, so you can just subscribe on iTunes and it'll come up as soon as it's ready. But that podcast addresses the absence of Dan, where he has been and running the site. Basically, he's not doing the site full time anymore, and he's moving on to another project that he's been working on for a while, a photo sharing app. But he talks about that in length in that podcast, which will be online on Tuesday. So anyway, media overload stuff. I played the Stanley Parable over the weekend. Really enjoyed it. It's such a goofy game. A perfect game for me, for someone who likes to explore like every corner and do a bunch of weird things in games. Like it's such an amazingly fun game. Next time it goes on the Steam sale, I would highly recommend buying it if you haven't played it already. I know I'm a little bit behind the time, or behind the release date for when that first came out, when it was very popular, but I've been trying to play a couple games before I do my best of 2013 list, and that was at the top of my list of games that I want to play. Brothers is also on that pile of shame list of games that I haven't played yet, which I saw today is actually free on PlayStation Plus. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. I bought it on the PC, so I'll be doing that. I'll be doing the Dead Rising 3. Some new Dead Rising 3 DLC comes out, I think tomorrow on Tuesday. So I'll be working on that, so expect to see some videos for that. And I'm also working on a video that I'm compiled all of the new releases that we're expecting to see for 2014, at least for today, and their expected projected release dates. So looking forward for the rest of the year. There's a ton of stuff coming out in the first half of the year. We don't know a lot about specific dates for the second half of the year, come next Christmas and all that. I'm sure we'll know more after E3 this year. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming out in the first couple months of the year as well. So I'm sure to check that out when I post that. I will be streaming more Dark Souls 1 for the rest of the week for Happy Hour. If you don't know about the Happy Hour stream I do on Twitch, it's from 6 to 8 Eastern every day. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed doing it. The channel is growing, or the Twitch stream channel is growing really quickly. And yeah, so be sure to check that out if you like to watch stuff on Twitch. Okay, so the story that I had about going to the dispensaries, it was a very interesting experience. Let's see, pull up my camera here. So I went to a dispensary for the first time in Colorado. If you didn't know, if you have been living under a rock, weed is now legal here in Colorado. And it's very, you can't really see it in the light, but whoo, you go in there, they give you this little Ziploc bag and a little bit of weed. Can you see that? Yep, only got a gram because it's actually really expensive. They're charging $60 for an eighth of weed, which is very expensive. I mean, that's a lot more than I used to pay back in college. And it's still cheaper for me to go to my guy that I know to get weed if I really wanted to get a bunch. But I went to the dispensary anyway just because I wanted to see what the experience was like and what that whole process is. So I found the closest one to me. It's about a mile away. It's just a little house. They have like an armed security guard there because they're dealing with so much drugs, like literally drugs. And they check your ID, make sure you're legitimately over 21. And then you go in there, you talk to one of the representatives or one of their clerks, I guess, and they ask you, are you a medical customer or are you a recreational user? I don't have a medical card, so I'm a recreational smoker. And they tell you a little bit about the differences between indicas and sativas. And then they offer you, 4 or 5 different kinds of pot, whatever you want. And then here we go, get a little bit of the nugget up there. And God, it smells so strong. There's a reason they give you this nice little Ziploc baggie to keep the smell out, or else it'll just stink up your whole house. But what I found really interesting was how they say, like, there is still a big difference between medical users and recreational users. At this one store that I went to, they would not sell me edibles because I'm a recreational user of marijuana. They have like a large supply of of edibles that come into the store, however often they come in, and they set aside a very small percent of their edibles for recreational users. And as soon as they're sold out, they're sold out. And they save most of their edibles for the medicinal users. And they had no edibles there, which is what I was actually very interested in checking out when I went to this dispensary. So I need to find a dispensary that either, and I think that's a decision that the dispensary made themselves, not a decision that the law made. So I need to find a dispensary where it's easy to get edibles, because I like smoking, but not a ton, but I wanted to try some edibles, see what that was like. The gram was $20, which is still also very fucking expensive for weed, so I will not be doing that very often, or purchasing weed very often until the prices go down at least. And before I get on to the email that I wanted to answer for this week, I have a question for you guys. How many of you guys share an HBO account or a Netflix account or a Brazzers account or something like that with friends or family members? And do you share the cost of the membership of using that account? Like if it's Netflix, it's only what, $8 a month, something like that. Do you split it 50-50 with a friend, or share the cable bill for your person or from whoever's HBO Go account that you're using? The reason I ask is very recently the CEO of HBO came out and said that he doesn't care that people share their passwords to watch their programming. So I found that very interesting, and Netflix has been very open about that for a long time, and especially with their newish kind of profiles and profile management that Netflix has, where you can very easily customize Netflix for multiple people to share it. I mean, obviously it's cutting into their profits when multiple people use one paid account, but they seem to kind of think, well, there's nothing we can do, so let's just embrace it and get more people to pay that initial $8 instead of making it difficult to be able to use their service. So let me know what accounts you share and what your relationship is with the person that you're sharing it with, and that's all that kind of stuff. Because I personally share a Netflix account with my sister, and then I use my dad's HBO Go account, and that also gives me access to like the ESPN app on the Xbox 360, so I can watch SportsCenter, and I don't pay anybody anything for those accounts just because they've never asked. So I mean, okay. So mailbag for today for this week from Charles W. He wrote, first off, here's a shout out to you guys from Vanderbilt University down in Nashville, Tennessee. I kept up with Wiki Game Guides about 7 years now, dating back to the release of Gears 1, back when Wiki Game Guides was Next Gen Walkthroughs, and I love the walkthroughs, happy hours, drink logs, and everything else that goes on the site. I think it's really cool that you guys managed to make your living through video games, so keep up the great work. Thank you. Second, I don't know if you've ever talked extensively at length about this subject, but what's your opinion of the fiber to the premises networks? For example, Google Fiber, Gigabit Squared's initiatives in Seattle and Chicago, Chattanooga's municipal fiber network, etc. and Google Fiber is in like Kansas City, and I think San Francisco, and maybe some other places. And what do you think is the future of that? Admittedly, this subject is old news, but I was curious about your take on the whole situation, as I seem to recall you pitching in the past about Comcast Speed's customer service, and figure you might have something interesting to say about the emergence of fiber optic networks. Anyway, keep on streaming during happy hour, drinking, and making drink-alongs and guides and podcasts. Generally being your awesome selves. Charles W. Thank you, man. I think there's a big future in that, and it's going to be very slow. It's going to be a very gradual process before we're going to start to see fiber into the houses in even big cities. So I live in relatively downtown Denver. Relatively meaning like I'm not in the very heart of the city. I'm just a little bit away from the most downtown part of the city, but it's still a very urban area. And my Comcast speeds are actually pretty good, though it is very expensive. But I think generally just the more competition you have, the better it is for the consumers. And Google and these other companies that I hadn't even heard of, Chattanooga's Municipal Fiber Network and Gigabit Squared, I never heard of those. But yeah, I think that a lot of cities, I don't know, Chattanooga, and I think there's one in like one of the Carolinas, a city that like took it upon themselves to create a very good infrastructure for very fast internet for the people that live within their city, which I think is a great way to promote small businesses and especially new tech entrepreneurial businesses that could use a very fast internet connection. Because like, let's just be frank, most people don't need super fast internet. You can stream Netflix, and you can download a movie, or you can play a game online, and for the most part, the way that Comcast works, it's good enough right now. But good enough isn't moving forward very fast, whereas these other these other alternatives like Google Fiber, they're forcing Comcast's hand and forcing them to step it up. So while I don't think that personally in Denver I'm going to see anything really interesting for a long time, that Comcast could be getting scared and seeing that they're losing a bunch of business in Kansas City. So, oh shit, we better step up our own business and our own infrastructure here in Denver, so that to kind of keep Google at bay. So overall, like, more competition, better. That's just how business works. And that's great. I absolutely love that. But that's just for the cities. When you get out into the suburbs, into very rural areas, tough shit. Like, it's just too hard. Like, I just don't see that. I mean, America's so fucking big that it's becoming easier to do these awesome high-speed internet things within the cities, but the further out you get, the less cost prohibitive, or the more cost prohibitive it becomes. So in the cities, I think it's going to be interesting. Outside, not a fucking chance. So anyway, thanks for checking out this Mailbag Monday. Again, wikigameguides@gmail.com if you have any emails. And thanks for watching. Oh, and you can follow me on Twitter at JohnTarJR. And I guess the final plug is, if you're going to do any shopping on Amazon, be sure to use the Amazon affiliate link in the description or on the bottom of every page of our website. It costs you nothing extra, and it gives a small percentage of your sale as a commission to me. So it's win-win. So thanks for watching. Game on. And go Broncos. Fuck yeah. Super Bowl, baby.